After over a year and a half, I finally decided to sell my beloved Ice Barrel Cold Plunge. The No Fade channel, checking in. Jonathan here with the latest, newest budget ice bath design that has hit the market, and that is this air tub. I certainly got plenty of use out of this bad boy, using it in the winter, in the summer, in the spring, early mornings, late evenings. If this thing got used, but there are a number of issues with it that are making me kick this thing to the curb. Zero insulation. And insulation, not something you think about in the middle of the winter time, but on a hot deck in the summertime, you absolutely think about it, because getting this 100 gallons cold enough to be beneficial in terms of your mood and your body on a cold plunge is going to cost you a lot of ice. Think about it. This is literally just a thin piece of plastic in terms of the thickness of the barrel. So there's nothing to keep that heat in. Another issue is cleaning the ice barrel. Now, any cold plunge or ice bath, you're going to have to clean. I was able to get away with having the water in here for a month plus. I used Epsom salt to kind of disinfect it just a little bit, and I made sure the cover was on at all times when it wasn't in use. The problem with the ice barrel is cleaning it out is a massive nuisance. There is a lip at the top here that kind of curves in. So when you're cleaning and you're trying to rinse it all out, a lot of the junk and a lot of the chemicals that you're using to clean get caught in that rim. And the last major issue is really twofold. It's how you get into this ice barrel and the diameter of the barrel itself. So in order to get in, you use the stool, you sit on the edge, you put your feet in, boop, you pop yourself in. And to get out, you just do the reverse. Now, I've been doing this for a year and a half. It's not that difficult. The problem with having to sit on this lip is if you ever have an issue where you're wet and slippery, or you have a moment of like vertigo, boom, you're gonna fall and you are gonna hurt yourself. When you're in here, your head is literally like usually sitting below this rim level, and you're kind of almost like encased in a small coffin. Now, one of the really nice things about this style of ice bath is how easy it is to get in. Now, make no mistake, you can't see the ice chunks floating around. However, they all melted. And this is extremely cold, even though there's no ice in it.
It feels different. It feels fantastic.
So this style is known as an air tub because it's in the shape of a tub. But the beauty of this is that it's easy to get in, and it's absolutely gorgeous in terms of getting your body in. I actually didn't even have the water filled up 3/4. I had it filled up to half. And then you get in, the water rises, and I am easily in, and I can put my head under if I wanted to. Getting in and out of an ice bath is important, because when I got into the ice barrel, man, oh man, I was making the sign of the cross every time to make sure I didn't fall over or have any issues with slipping out once I was ultra cold and trying to get out. So the ability to just kind of get in and get out super easy is nice. Also, this comes with the top. A lot of the budget DIY versions don't have tops, and you've got to kind of make your own. Now, if you don't have a top, three things happen. You get a whole bunch of random junk in here. Also, the sun is going to beat on it and warm it up even more. And on top of that, it's just going to be a risk if you have kids, because the reality is my 6-year-old could come in here and drown.
That escalated quickly.
Which is a horrible thing to think of, but if you have a locking top, it's not going to happen. Time out. We need to stop talking about my frozen Uniball in order to say thank you to all of you who've been using my affiliate links, which are in the description of today's video. They obviously help me buy stuff to review and use and analyze for you, but it's not a one-way street. When you use those links, just let me know. Shoot me a message, shoot me an email, and I will send you a small token of my appreciation. Now, these actually have an interesting installation process. Number one, they use insulated materials on the inside of that, so that's one fold. Number two, they've got stagnant air. This is all filled up with air, and if you've ever had a thermodynamics class, stagnant air is a very good insulator. So the fact that these have both insulated material and stagnant air is a plus. Obviously, if you live in Arizona, if you're gonna put this thing into direct heat in the summertime, it's going to get hot quick. quick, but it does come with chiller ports, and that's another thing that people want to have, the ability to connect a chiller. A chiller essentially takes out the water, makes it cold, and then dumps it back in. It will also filter the water as well, but if you have a chiller, you're still going to have to either change out the filter or change out the water, because over time it will get dirty. This style of cold plunge is relatively new compared to a lot of the others, so the price points are currently high. Keep in mind, the Nordic Recovery is coming in at $700. Now, the Zensai comes in at $650, and if you look closely, you're gonna see that the Nordic Recovery is only slightly bigger. Keep in mind, you can actually get $100 off of this thing off the top just by submitting your email. Most of these companies keep these prices high in order to give you massive sales to let you think you're getting a great deal. Now, luckily for you, you found my video, and if you go on Temu, you'll see that they have the same exact thing, and if you look closely, the dimensions are almost exact, same style, same connection ports, and honestly, if you look at the photos, I don't know how you would tell the difference. $250, a massive discount. I was able to scour the interwebs, and lo and behold, Amazon sells what looks to be the same exact thing, but with a different company name on the side for $309. Way cheaper than either of these two that you see here. Keep in mind, I usually prefer going through Amazon for all my purchases. Number one, for fast shipping. Number two, their return policy is essentially no questions asked for at least the first 30 days. And on top of that, these are all relatively made in the same factory. I mean, if you look at the photos, you couldn't tell it apart. You do have to dive down into the dimensions because some of them are different sizes. Now, I know you're saying $309 doesn't seem like budget when it comes to cold plunge, but guess what? When you go on Amazon and you see the small little plastic tubs with zero insulation that they're selling you for like $80 to $100, and you can't get below your nipples on that thing as far as getting your body in, yeah, $309 is an absolute steal. Now, I've got the Nordic Recovery behind me, and I've got the Zensai here that I'm sitting in, and both of them are like the exact same style. I don't know if you could even tell them apart in the photos, but side by side, they're exactly the same except for size. This one I'm sitting in is 120 gallons. The one behind me is bigger. You can't tell by looking at it in the video. If you put it side by side, it's like maybe a half an inch bigger than this version and a slightly wider, so that probably equates to like another 20 gallons maybe. However, how many gallons do you need? I think 100 gallons is plenty for most people. I'm 6'1", 190, and this is way more space than I need. This is actually really comfortable. I don't feel claustrophobic, and I have no problem getting my body in. I think 100 gallons is the way to go, or higher. The higher you go, the harder it's going to be to keep cold. Remember, the more water you have, the more it's going to take to get that hot water colder. So even if you have something like this, which is 120 gallons, you don't have to fill it all the way up. You could go halvesies on this thing, and then once you get in, it will come up, or once you add ice, it will come up. So don't feel like you need to fill it all the way to the top and then have it overflow. That's the stuff that they do for the marketing. The other major issue when it comes to any home purchase, whether it's for health, fitness, for your gym, cost. And most of the ice baths that they're selling, the cold plunges they're selling online, are massively expensive. And I think part of that is because they're paying for the marketing. They're trying to get you to commit to a massive purchase. And some of the stuff that they're selling you is just really heavy duty, and that's why the cost is so high. But for the average Joe Schmo, you don't want to spend $1,000 or more on an ice bath. You literally want to spend like $100 or $200. And up till now, the budget stuff on Amazon, unfortunately, comes in with zero insulation. It's ultra small, so that when you get in, not only do you feel claustrophobic, you really can't get your body in. You can't even get your shoulders in, let alone your head dunked under. I think they do a really good job with this new air tub, because it's literally inflated plastic, that they keep the price points low. Most of these companies are purposely keeping their prices super high so that they can run ultra sales. Now, if you do buy bundles, that's usually where you can save the most money. Buy a bundle that comes with the chiller. If the chiller is something you absolutely want, that comes with the chiller, that's going to save you probably the most money with regards to any company you go with. And they are super easy to move around. And of course, you could deflate it, makes it even easier to move it around. Why is that important? Because twofold. Number one, You may want to take this in and out depending on your use. Maybe you more likely to use it in the summertime, a little bit less likely in the wintertime. Also, you may want to move it to different locations. If you're trying to keep your ice bath as cold as possible and make it as easy to get cold with ice and whatnot, putting this thing in the shade, especially in the summertime, is massive. So having the ability to put it in the sun come the winter time and get a little bit of heat on your face and make sure it doesn't freeze as fast is great. And then of course summertime hits, you just move over and move down to a place that has shade, lickety split. And then of course maybe you want to clean up for company and you don't want them seeing this weird thing on your back deck. You're hoping to have people out here for drinks. You can deflate this and store it easy peasy. Now, if you look closely at both of these, they have connection ports for a chiller, which essentially pulls the water from the bottom, gets it cold, puts it back in up top. It's a great way if you don't want to have to go out and buy ice or essentially make ice, to have a thing that's just ready to go whenever you want to jump in. That is going to run you more money, both with the electricity as well as you're going to have to pay beaucoup bucks for the chiller itself. And now it's time. It is time for me to get out because it's been 11 minutes and I am an iceberg in here. Final thoughts real quick is that this air tub is the future. I absolutely think this is going to be right in the wheelhouse, the bullseye for so many people, both in what it delivers in size and comfort, ease of access, the insulation with not only the insulating materials that they use, but the stagnant air. And again, stagnant air is a beautiful insulator, and it comes with this cover, not only to keep stuff out, but also to keep your children from drowning, which is of course massively important. And it adds extra insulation, having this cover on, keeping this direct sun off of the water. If you could get a white, definitely get white over black. I think these do have value. I don't see the price points coming down. I think if you could get it for like $350 or less, I saw a couple on Amazon. I'll put links in the description to everything. Absolutely get them. They're a great deal, and they come with a warranty. And obviously I hope companies put out versions that don't have the chiller hookups, because a lot of people, especially if you're on a budget, you're never going to buy a $500, $600 chiller to connect to it. So keeping the price point down by not having the hookups is probably a smart move, and I'm sure companies are already designing them, already getting them out, because hey, if you want it, if you're going to pay money for it, people are willing to sell it for you. All right, I had more to say, I think, but I can't remember because I'm ice cold. I gotta get out of here. If you made it this far, you're an absolute legend. Check out those videos, and just watch another video. Check out the links in the description. Hit the subscribe button. You guys are awesome as usual. Don't save anything for the trip back.